As you can notice, Alia has green on and I have green on, which is a coincidence. It was not on purpose.
It was not on purpose, but we did call it out first before we even talk about the second right here. If can you like, I guess people watch this on YouTube too, but can you just like leave a comment and let us know who you think copied who before we get into actually who did what?
Oh yeah. So before you even finish the episode, wait, who copied what is it?
No, it's like basically who do you think copied the other? Who do you think put the green shirt on first? And then who put on it on second?
I love doing that on the stories.
Yeah, just like let us know. And then now we can say it.
Oh my God. No, so Alia had
I had the shirt on first.
Yeah, but nobody cares about who had the shirt on.
Yeah, nobody cares, but I feel like people always think that I copy you because you always say that I copy you.
Because I'm the cool one. Like, it's okay.
Okay, that's not true.
I'm just kidding. I'm not. I'm actually...
you're actually very cool.
You know what's funny? I actually copy you so much.
That's true. But I just don't call it out that way. Like, I'm excited. I'm very excited when you get into things that I like.
But then when I copy you, I just do it better. I'm just kidding.
The big eye roll I did just now.
She did not like that. We're gonna edit that out.
But anyways, okay, we're both wearing Berkeys right now. Also, if you don't know what Berkeys are, they're Birkenstocks, and I got them first, and a year later, Yoni jumped on the trend.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that doesn't really matter. Let's get into the episode, shall we? Welcome back to the What's the Juice podcast. I'm your host, Alia.
My name is Yoni Ikoto, and today I'm very excited. I feel like I say that every episode, but this episode is something that I wanted to talk about for a long time because I actually don't understand it.
What?
I don't understand.
You don't understand it?
Like, we'll get into why.
Wait, so how do you expect to talk? Okay.
No, like, I understand it, but the reason why I'm making this episode now is so I can talk about and actually learn maybe.
Oh, okay.
What
just
is
like
it?
talk through it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, let's just start with, should we just start with like the difference between, should we actually just talk about, wait, so that's the reason why you want to talk about this? Because,
okay, so when you talk about loneliness, I never felt loneliness before. I don't know. I never felt that actual feeling of actually being lonely. So I don't know what it feels like. That's what I mean.
So what are we considering lonely?
Well,
should we look at the definition?
Yeah, look at the definition. Look it up on Google because I know what it means. I can maybe assume like what it feels like, but I don't think I really felt
the definition of lonely is sad because one has no friends or company, without companionship.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is alone. So it has to be that you wish that you had company or you wish that you were with people, but you're not.
Okay.
Versus alone, I think, sorry guys, we should have probably looked this up before. Alone means having no one else present. Which I feel like
that could be an amazing thing.
So that's the difference. They're both that you're like no one else is around you. Alone
I understand that part.
Is that it's simply just you're alone. And then the other one, lonely, is that you are alone but you wish you weren't. Okay. So you've never felt like you were alone but you wish you weren't alone.
No.
What?
I'm serious. And I don't want anybody to watch this and be like, of course he's never felt that. But I'm really trying to think of a moment in my life that I was alone.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like a big moment in your life.
You know why though? Because I always managed to make friends. I assume that someone that's lonely, and please, during this episode, I don't know shit about this, like about being lonely. I'm just assuming what it.
Let's just talk through it. You know.
So, I always assume associate the word lonely with you're sad, obviously, but you also don't have you don't have another option.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So hold on a second. If you're lonely, it also means that like you don't have the choice but to be alone.
Like you can't do anything about it. So you're lonely until you accidentally see, that's what I mean. I don't know what it takes to get out of loneliness. And in my personal experience, I've never really like felt that because I've always been good with making friends. If I'm lonely, let's say I'm lonely, right now. I'm lonely. I'm at a coffee shop. I don't have any friends, right? In a new city that I move into. Am I lonely in the beginning? I might not be lonely in the beginning because I like to explore by myself. I feel like the loneliness will kick in after some time.
Okay.
But then for me, I would just make a friend.
Okay.
Or meet someone. And I don't know. I feel like I need more time with this. Like maybe while you're talking, I'm gonna realize some things.
Okay.
But I make friends very easily. I just go to the basketball court.
Yeah.
Start playing with some people, and I literally have a new friend that day.
Right. Okay.
Because then I'll ask him, "Are you coming back here tomorrow? Next week? What's your number? I'll text you next time I come." Boom, and I literally have a friend.
Right. Okay. So
Not a friend, but you know what I mean, like a person.
And I was gonna say too that I think what you just said made me think of like a few things. But before we get into those, I just want to say, have I ever felt lonely? I would say yes. And I think feeling lonely doesn't have to be like an umbrella feeling across a whole moment. Sometimes I think you can feel lonely in a specific journey. It doesn't necessarily mean you don't have friends or you're by yourself. Sometimes, for example, working as a YouTuber is very lonely. It's very lonely because you don't really ever actually connect with someone in your work. I don't work with someone. I don't have a team. I don't have anyone I have you because we're in a relationship, but I just mean it's a lonely job. And it gets lonely when you also feel like I don't want to include my friends in these videos because I don't want them to feel like I'm using my friendship and displaying it to like monetize it. So it's like a lonely job in a sense compared to working in an office where it's a not lonely job because you're like constantly talking to people, joking, you form relationships at work, etc. I think different kinds of things like that in your life can be lonely. You are alone, but you can, sorry about the sirens, but you can also feel lonely in this specific thing in your life.
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as you said the umbrella thing, and damn, this is loud.
Sorry, y'all.
Anytime it rains in Seattle, I feel like people just don't know how to drive.
Yeah, and you would think
the
people
rain.
would know how to drive in Seattle because it's like the rainy city.
But maybe it might be something else. So let's just,
that's true.
Knock on wood.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to say to kind of clarify a little bit because I think being sad about companionship, the way that the definition it described it, like that makes sense. But also you can kind of feel lonely, like even feel lonely in a specific mindset or a specific opinion or journey. Like, for example, I've felt lonely in my own family at times because I felt like there's no one that sees eye to eye with me on a certain thing.
But that's not lonely. That's just...
That's what?
They just don't
No, but
agree.
it's lonely because I wish I had companionship in my feeling.
I understand.
Or in a perspective.
Yeah, as soon as you start to talk about like the job thing, while I was listening to you, I was thinking, do I feel like that about photography? And I literally asked myself as you was talking, okay, as soon as she's done with this, can I say the same about photography?
Can you?
And so if you're shooting with people, then there's always interactions. You always meet people. It's a very social thing, I would say. And the more social you are, honestly, I feel like the better off you'll be because it's really all about networking. So it's the complete opposite of being like, I don't know, lonely, I would say, right?
Yeah.
But talking about loneliness with photography, I think nobody in my family is a photographer or anything like that, right? So maybe in that aspect, I feel lonely because there's nobody I can talk to and
share
someone
the
that
passion.
really understands like what I'm trying to do and what I want to do, you know?
And
like,
has that now made you feel kind of lonely?
but I feel like lonely, I don't put lonely on, oh, I'm lonely because of that. It's kind of just like,
It's
it is what it is. Like with my mom, for example, I can't really talk too much about photography because, you know, like my parents don't really know that much about that world.
Yeah.
You know, to a lot of people, photography is just taking senior photos. You're a photographer, and it's not anything like, they don't know there's a whole other side of.
Yeah, totally.
So, but does that make me feel lonely because nobody understands what I'm trying to do?
I think it's a morphed version of loneliness because I think I personally,
like,
this
I
is
do
just
wish
how I would experience. This is how I would express, like, sometimes how I feel in certain situations is like it's a nuance loneliness of, because loneliness could also be like you're sharing physical space with somebody and like emotional space, I guess. And you also feel like there's like experience space that like sometimes you just want to experience. Like, why do you think you want to go experience things, like new things with other people, with companionship? Experiencing things with other people, sharing moments or sharing passions with other people. Think about how good it feels when you meet someone that you're on the same wavelength about something you're so passionate about. And you are one of those people that anytime we meet, you meet any other photographer or any other kind of person that's in the arts or has a passion about something where it's kind of like entrepreneurial, or I don't know, where it's very much freelancer stuff.
Or you do yourself, yeah.
Yeah, you find this connection and
it can be about anything.
And it can be about anything. But I feel especially when it's more of an artistic thing, you connect on another level and you have this, you're sharing this kind of, you feel like they understand you on another level.
I feel like we could be friends, yeah. Exactly.
But then you, let's say, because I know you've said like some of your friends, some of your closest friends, like they're into many different things, and you can't necessarily talk at length about your love for photography or for the arts.
Yeah, because
So don't you? One second. So don't you? Because they're into other things. Yeah, and that's fine. And I'm not even saying it like as a negative thing.
Yeah.
But that's just a fact. They just don't. So you feel like you can't really, if you're super excited about a project and you want to just talk about it and get into it, you can't do that with them. With them when you're hanging out.
I can do that with one of them.
Okay, but I'm just saying if you're all hanging out together.
Yeah.
And I've been in those kinds of situations before where I'm trying to talk about the podcast or I'm trying to talk about, you know, the internet and being a content creator and all that. And when I try to talk about those types of things that I'm really passionate about with particular people in my life that are close to me, I've found myself feeling lonely in that type of conversation because people don't engage with it. People that don't understand it and don't care for it and don't have the same drive and passion about the thing that you do, trying to talk about it with them feels lonely. And it's such a weird feeling.
It's such a weird, I know exactly
but you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I have this amazing photo that I would show my friend that's let's say that's in photography or understand photography. They would say, wow, this photo is amazing because of A, B, C, and D. And I know the photo is amazing.
Yeah.
My personal opinion. But let's say I would show it to like one of my closest friends, right? And they might not, they don't understand. They can't make the difference between an amazing photo and just a regular photo. To some people, a photo is just a photo.
Right.
There's nothing else.
Because you have to have that ounce of if you know, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, and I understand everybody's into different things, you know what I mean? So, but also it's the same for them. Like, whatever they're into, they can't really talk to me too much about it because I don't know what to say.
Yeah. But I think
it's not fair to hold them, and I'm not saying you're doing that, but I'm just saying it's not fair to hold other people.
But it's not even about them, it's about you.
No, right,
It's about
exactly.
how you're feeling.
So that's why I do wish that I could, but I do have other friends that I do that with.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I don't know if you ever have that feeling. It's like you have a friend for each thing in your life.
I don't.
I have a friend for, if there's a big basketball game, I know exactly who to FaceTime or who to talk.
Mm-hmm.
There's a photography event, I know exactly who might want to go with me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a soccer game, I know who to go with. So
yeah.
So that's great to have, and I feel lucky that I even just have that, because I know a lot of people just also don't have that.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point, but I don't think overall, just like speaking about loneliness, I don't think photography, it is a lonely journey, because you have to do a lot of the work by yourself. In the beginning, nobody believes in you. You're taking photos, you go here, you go, even if you're shooting with people, sometimes it's just like, okay, we worked together, it was great. Then you go home and you edit. But I can't say, I don't know, like I didn't really think about that. Like, is it a lonely journey? I don't know, because I'm very social. So,
yeah.
So it's hard for me to even get to the loneliness place, because I will talk to anybody.
And I would also say that at the same time, you're also very comfortable being alone.
That is true.
You know? And
That
it kind of,
true.
I think that's also why they kind of sort of go hand in hand for me, because I have become more and more comfortable with being alone and being okay with being alone a lot of the time, even though I see constantly around me society and the internet and different things in my life telling me that I should want to like not be alone. I should want to go out and hang out with people and be social. But to be completely honest, I have the best time doing my own thing and being alone. And when I say being alone, it also means being alone with you. Because
I was just
when
gonna say,
we're
damn,
together,
are you saying something?
because when we're together, I feel like
You're alone.
I'm alone, low key. But and I've said that to some friends before. They were like, I
But
feel like
nobody
that's-
understands
I,
that.
yeah, exactly.
Even now, you just said it. People are probably like, wait, what? It's not
Yeah.
a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
Can you explain what that means?
I'm so comfortable and I'm so myself. And I also feel so connected to you on like on every level that when we hang out together, it feels just as good as if I was hanging out alone. And also, you're such a big part of my life that when we hang out together, I'm not even thinking we're hanging out together. I feel like I'm just living.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. But I feel like every time we've said that in the past, anytime you say, or for example, anytime I say when I'm hanging out with Alia, it really feels like I'm just by myself also.
Right.
We could literally be in the same room and not talk for 2 hours and
Yeah.
just do, and like sit right like this, just next to each
Yeah.
other. But to some people, they think like, damn, you guys don't talk to each other. We don't, people have to understand it's okay to not have to always talk.
Literally last night, we went to get dinner and we, we're talking, waiting for, had to wait a little bit to just like sit to get our table. And then we sit at the table, we order, food comes, we eat. And I swear the entire time from when we start eating to when we finished eating, we didn't really talk that much.
Yeah.
And I actually thought to myself, damn, it's like so, like, we're not like, what's up? Like, is your food good? Like, I realized that it had been like, I don't know, 5 or so minutes that we were eating and we just didn't say shit.
We didn't say anything. And nobody
But I was so
on,
comfortable.
I didn't even think about it. Like, I was just eating the food, and I will say the food wasn't amazing.
Okay. So, because yeah, if the food is good, you like are talking about how good the food
Yeah.
is. So that was part of it too, I guess.
But we weren't talking, and then, but you know, the funny thing was everybody around us was talking.
Oh,
You hear
yeah.
chatter. The people
Loud ass
next to
table behind us.
And I was just, enjoying the food. And then I wanted some of Alia's food, switch plates.
But we weren't like in an active conversation
But the thing
or
is,
chatting up.
a lot of the times people always feel like, all right, we're sitting across from each other and we have to talk about something. And even some people, maybe if you're in a relationship, I feel like some people still even deal with that while being in a relationship.
Deal with what specifically?
Deal with, okay, we're out and let's just talk about something, because if not, it's going to be awkward. But with us,
it's never awkward because it's like I'm with my
by yourself.
I'm by myself.
No, but and I also feel like it's never been awkward.
No, it's
like I think
awkward.
I don't know what it is about our chemistry or our connection that as soon as we met, even on like the first few dates, yeah, obviously you want to talk and you want to get to know each other, but
and you're a little guarded.
Yeah, but there were times that we were just sitting somewhere or eating and we weren't talking to each other.
Yeah.
But it's okay to not talk is what I'm trying to say, because so many people have that pressure. Even if you're just hanging out with your friend, if you're just driving in a car, right? You ever been in a car with your friend and he's driving or she's driving?
And you're just looking at the road.
And then you're just looking at the road. There's music playing. You know how many people feel like we have to talk about something?
Yeah.
Even with your own best friend.
Yeah.
It's okay to just...
I felt that actually like kind of recently.
Yeah.
When I was driving the car with someone and we were, we talked. We've been hanging out for like a couple hours already. And then we were just driving. And I was not really trying to be on my phone. And she was driving.
And sometimes you don't feel like talking.
And there's also just nothing to say.
But that's okay. But I feel like so many people look at that and be like, damn, we're not saying anything right now. This is kind of awkward. And then you ever caught yourself trying to think about some shit to talk about?
Yeah, totally. Or trying to even avoid the awkward silence in a conversation, like because you already feel the topic you're currently talking about coming to an end.
It's the worst when you feel it coming to an end.
And then as you're talking about that topic, you're thinking about what can I bring up next so that the conversation doesn't awkwardly end here. I do that all the time, especially in social situations.
I feel like this happens with a certain type of person also. If I'm hanging out with a person that was like me, I don't think that's ever going to happen because I always pull shit out of everywhere to just talk about. But sometimes, obviously, if there's nothing to talk about, I hate forcing conversation.
Yeah.
We should do a whole podcast episode about forcing conversation.
Small talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the worst. And it gets so awkward sometimes. And by the way, awkwardness is the funniest shit to me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why.
Yoni loves witnessing me being awkward.
I think it's so funny because you have this specific look on your face.
And you immediately know.
And it's almost like I need help right now.
And that's me anytime we're at a social event of some sort.
Because then you would say something and then look at me because you kind of, I don't know what it is. Like if you say something and it's like borderline cringy.
Yeah.
After you say it, you would look at me like with this awkward smile. And I'm like...
It's like, when you fart, you have to call it out. You can't just act like you didn't.
Oh, geez.
Or like if I trip, I have to call out the fact that I tripped. I can't just act as if I didn't. It's one of those. If it's an awkward situation, I have to call out that this is awkward.
No, yeah. If I'm walking down the street and I almost trip or just trip, I'm going to laugh about it.
Yeah.
Because have you ever seen someone trip, like almost trip, but not say anything, just carry on?
Yeah, and I think it's so funny.
Or let's say, for example, like you mentioned earlier, right? Like if you fart, for example, and there's people around, and there's clearly someone who heard you.
Yeah.
You have to say something.
You have to.
You can't just fart and then just carry on as if like, yo, bro. You good?
There's no way.
Yeah, it's funny.
So we talked about loneliness. But now I think we should talk about just like being alone and the idea of like being alone, how we feel about it. Because I have a lot to say about this.
1 second. I want to make sure. So loneliness.
Okay.
I just want to know where I left it off at.
I think it's one of those things that...
I'm not sure if I've ever really felt that because... And also the moments that I was alone, not to go back to loneliness. I know we moved on. But I'm just saying the moment that I was alone...
Lonely or alone?
Lonely?
Yeah.
No, the moments that I was alone, I never really felt lonely.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I wanted to get into.
Because I was just okay with it.
Yeah.
And if I don't want to be alone anymore, then just go be with people.
Right.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I definitely felt lonely. I remember a time when it was a time when I really wanted to be in a relationship really bad.
When was this?
This was, I mean, I don't know. It happened like a year here, then like I can't tell
had
you.
phases.
I can't, Yeah, I
Okay.
had phases of like.
Was that right,
Damn, I
right
wanna-
before we got together? Was that a moment where
that
you're
was
like trying to get in a relationship?
That was the moment, and I just remember like I didn't. I have such a social life, but I didn't have a romantic life. And
Sorry about the sirens.
shit is going down in Seattle today. So I just remember, and it always happens when I see people be happy in a relationship. I'm like, fuck, man, I want this shit too. This shit, it looks so good, better than being single.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, being in a relationship is 100 times better than being single. That's just personal for me. And
yeah,
we can
I mean,
do-
we're also like, we're in such a fucking great relationship. I don't know why I just swore like unnecessarily, but
unnecessarily.
that I think that I can't even imagine like why would you want to not be in this? But I don't think anyone wants to be like not in a
No,
be
there's
single.
a lot of people who just want to be single.
But I
and
think they
can
want to
do-
be single because they think of relationships as this whole thing.
Or maybe they're just not ready. Maybe they're just in school. They want to focus.
Oh yeah, true. And I mean, I guess relationships take amounts. I don't know. Well, we can talk about that.
Yeah, we
another
can talk
time.
about that. Let's just
But
make a note.
I think from coming off of what you're saying is like, okay, I never really felt lonely when I was alone, as in by myself, because if I'm alone by myself, I'm good with being alone in that moment. And as soon as I feel lonely, as in like I wish I was hanging out with someone, I just go and hang out with someone.
Yeah.
So that makes total sense, and that's totally valid. And I think the kind of like difference in people is that, let's say they start feeling lonely, as in, for example, I sometimes am scrolling on my phone, looking at reels, and then I see these like really cool Instagram girls that post these reels where they kind of show how they are like so social, and they have, it's a highlight reel, but still like they kind of display their social life
By the way-
through clubs outside with people and like cute girls like doing things and being cool and making pizza together with your girlfriends and like being wild and shit like that.
Being wild.
Wild.
By the
What
way,
were
a
you
lot
gonna
of that stuff is not real.
No, I know it's not real. That's why I said it's a highlight. It's a highlight reel in the sense that like it only shows highlighted moments of someone being super social and having a lot of friends. And sometimes when I see that kind of content, even though I know in my head like, yeah, it's not quote unquote real, it makes me feel like for a second there, damn, I wish that I had people to turn to do those things when I'm in the mood to do those things, which is not very often. Which is
very, I mean, it's really like rare that you want to do that stuff.
It's really rare. Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. And I'm in this weird space where like I have become so comfortable being alone, and I feel so good, and I actually prefer hanging out with just by myself or with you and experiencing things like that by myself. I'd rather choose that than like experience it with other people for some reason.
You know what it is?
What is it?
It's because we literally have so much fun together.
That's true.
Because anytime I hang out with you, right? Or let's say I'm somewhere else doing something with somebody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I chose that over being with you that day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm having fun with that person. It's fun. We haven't, but it's never at 100% of like fun.
Right. I get what you mean.
It's gonna be at like 80, but I'm still having fun.
Yeah.
But with you,
But it would have been just so much more fun if you were doing it with me.
yes, and it depends what it is. Obviously, not everything.
Yeah,
like
like
if I go play basketball,
It's probably more fun with whoever you're
it's gonna
playing.
suck if we went to play together. I'm gonna be like, okay, let's just go home.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
yeah.
what? It might just be fun because it's funny.
Right. I think the same way for me it would be like going shopping or going thrifting, things like that.
I don't like
going
going
grocery shopping, which is like such stupid activity, you know.
Grocery shopping is probably my least favorite things.
But I love that shit. Like if my friend texted me, she's like, "Hey, I want to go to Trader Joe's. You want to tag along?" I would be like, "Fuck yeah!" It's like my favorite thing. And same thing with like going thrifting. I would much rather go with like a specific friend rather than with you because I take my sweet time and I take a while.
I take my sweet time. I was just gonna say that.
Oh, really?
Babe, if I go shopping, like physical shopping, I want to go by myself. I never want to go with anyone. You know why?
That's true. Actually, I'd rather not go with anyone.
Because I can literally stay in a store for an hour.
Yeah.
If I'm by myself and I'm just listening to my music,
your podcast,
nobody's bothering me. I don't feel like I have to rush out.
That's true.
Nobody's telling me, "Yo, you ready to go?" I hate that shit.
Yeah. That's
leave me alone. We'll hang out after I'm done, like going into these stores.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's a conflicting feeling of in the past year. What?
So I was just gonna say, if we ever go to the mall, right, which we don't, but if we go to a mall and we go together, right? Let's say we go shopping together. I would literally tell Alia, "All right, I'll meet you at the food court, or I'll meet you downstairs."
Because we also want to go to different stores.
Yeah. So then we just kind of do our own things.
Yeah.
I hate like tagging along, especially if Alia's like shopping for some. Like I don't have nothing to do there. Like I'm not going to walk into a Victoria's Secret.
Right. And I mean, you have before.
I have before, and I felt.
I mean, I think that's also just a very specific store.
Why is it weird for guys to be in Victoria's Secret?
Because there's nothing there for them.
But do you feel like if I walked in there with you, that people might look at me a certain way?
What? No. Why would they look at you a certain way?
I don't know, because
they would look at you in a certain way if you go in there by yourself with no one else.
I can't buy stuff for my girlfriend?
I mean, you can, but it's not very like often that you see that.
Yeah. Anyways, so sorry. I know I cut you off.
I don't even know what I was saying.
Yeah.
So
okay, so we never got into like being alone.
Yeah. So being alone, this past year, I've really leaned into just being alone, and I fucking love being alone. I would, and so often I find myself the few times that I'm like, okay, let's go do something social, let's hang out with people, and we're there and we're hanging out with people, and like I would say 90% of the time that we're in those situations, I'm literally think to myself, damn, I would have had way more fun if I was just by myself right now. And when I say by myself, I mean with Yoni also.
Yeah, since being by yourself is the same as being with me. It's the
same. Yeah. And for like the little bit of like free time we have on the weekends and stuff like that, using that time to be on at a social place or being social with other people, I feel like it's like time wasted where I could have so much enjoyed being with just you and I at home doing our shit or going somewhere and doing our thing by ourselves. Like I don't know. It's weird, but
I don't think it's healthy for us to do that much.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you say that?
I just think going outside and hanging out with people, there's just always something you can do. I feel like you just gotta find that perfect maybe
balance?
Friend.
Friend.
Yeah, friend or balance. I think, is somebody calling you?
No.
Somebody was like calling me.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, the world is like too big to not do stuff with a big group of friends.
I'm not even saying like not to do that. I'm just saying.
But I know what you mean. We just have fun. Like
we just have
doing our own thing.
fun doing random chill shit.
And sometimes also we don't actually have to do something that's fun to have fun.
We don't really do activities.
Yeah. So it's so weird. I can't explain it. I feel like we're not very clear when we
No, I think we can. I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah. So being alone, right?
Yeah.
I love being alone, but I also love being around other people.
Yeah.
I would probably take being with other people over being alone.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's
I feel like you never hang out with other people though.
Well, I mean, that doesn't mean that I wouldn't, because I'm just busy. Like, we work, and we also work together.
Yeah.
But
like you very rarely are like trying to make plans with people or trying to do shit. That's what I'm saying.
You know what? Okay, I would say, let me take that back. Anytime I go to the gym, I have my weekly things that I do.
Okay.
I play soccer twice a week. I play basketball twice a week.
Okay.
Right? And that's around a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I have fun. In those moments, I would say those are the only moments where I would say I would not want to be home right now.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I love doing it. I always look forward to it. So yeah, so even if we're just hanging out together and it's time for me to go play basketball and it's like a choice to go, right?
Yeah.
I would always go.
Right. But you also go like it's attached to like a specific activity. It's not just like hanging out to just hang out and chill and talk.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's also, because it's like you're being social and you're being around other people, but you're not actually like socializing actively because you're playing a game.
Yeah. But sometimes,
you know what I mean?
I don't know. Like I just don't want it to come. I love hanging out with my friends. We just haven't been hanging out a lot lately because
I also think everybody's got a life, you know?
Yeah, everybody got a life. Everybody got a partner. Everyone is just busy with work. And I think, and it's great, but whenever we do hang out, it's like nothing ever. It's like what?
No, nothing. You just said it's like a lot.
Yeah, so it's just basically like we never really had a break, you know?
Yeah.
We just catch up and it's great.
No, I get it. Do you ever feel like you want alone time when we're together at home?
It's not necessarily that I want it, but sometimes I need it.
Okay. So what do you do?
I get on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch like a photography documentary, a photography podcast. That's my time alone. But you could literally be next to me. I don't need you. Like, I don't need the house for myself is what I mean.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't need to be in another room.
Go on somewhere by yourself.
I never have that. I just need to go on a walk by myself. It's if I do that, it's like it means something's wrong.
Yeah.
For me.
Like if anything, sometimes I don't actively say like, hey, I kind of want to just like spend some time alone or like.
We've never said that.
No.
You just do it.
I just do it. If I ever feel, and sometimes it's a matter of, I just want to do something that I know Yoni doesn't want to do. And I'm also totally fine with doing it by myself. Like sometimes I ask you if you want to come, but I'm hoping you don't.
What?
No, if it's a specific activity that I know I just would be kind of dragging you to, such as going to the store,
going to the farmer's market.
Those are things. Yeah, go to the farmer's market. Those are things that I absolutely love doing.
I hate the farmer's market.
But it's so much more satisfying to actually do by myself because I there's no one waiting on me. I can really just be like headphones in and be in this space and do this little activity that brings me so much joy.
It's important.
You know? So I would only want alone time in our relationship when it's that I want to do an activity that I particularly like doing alone, you know, but it isn't so much that I need alone time as in I know I need time by myself without you.
Yeah.
That doesn't really happen.
Yeah. What would you say someone has to do if they're feeling lonely? Like, what can you do to...
Well, you said earlier what Yoni does, he's alone. He starts feeling lonely. What does he do? He goes and hangs out with somebody, right? But let's say you're a person that doesn't have...
Wait, 1 second. If you say starts to feel lonely, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, to me, lonely is a long period of time. It's not just, I was lonely yesterday. You were just alone. No,
But you can be feeling lonely in one day. Like it can be a day that you particularly were like, damn, I wish I could be hanging out with someone today.
I always attach like lonely, it's like multiple days, like a time in your life. Because that means if I'm by myself one day and I wish I was with someone, I'm just alone today. But I don't feel like loneliness
I get what you mean. Yeah, that's true.
Of a feeling.
Of a feeling that is like accumulated.
Yes, it's like, damn, every day I feel this way and I don't have anybody to text or call or go hang out with. I literally can't call one person. To me, that's loneliness.
I guess, yeah, that's a good point.
But if I'm hanging out one day and I'm by myself and all my friends are busy, I'm not lonely.
Yeah.
I'm just alone that day. Like, I don't know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's ask the question again. What does someone do when they're feeling lonely and there's this accumulation of lonely, as in it's a time when they wish they had people around them extensively. Like for a long period of time, they've been feeling this way.
Yeah.
And they've been feeling lonely. What can you do? Because I guess the reason why they're feeling lonely for an extended period of time is because they have no choice in the matter. They can't just be hanging out with somebody.
Yeah, that's just the life right now.
Yeah. Like you move to a new city and for some reason it's really hard for you to make friends and you've been feeling particularly lonely the last couple of weeks because you've been in this new city for a couple months and you still have like no people to reach out to hang out. So you've been feeling lonely. What can someone do to, kind of alleviate that feeling?
I think if you really have to work on being a social person.
Okay.
And I know people can say, I'm not a social person. I just kind of stick to myself. And by doing that, you have to know that the chances of you feeling lonely is just greater and greater.
Mm-hmm.
So really try to be uncomfortable and talk to strangers.
Yeah.
Talk to random people. I would say for me, right? Let's say I wasn't social and I'm really struggling with making friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my little tricks with taking a photo of someone that can break the ice or playing basketball. But let's say I don't have any of those, right? And I'm just...
Yeah, you have a lot of those.
Well, like tricks to
go
like
you have so many
loneliness.
Ways in which you start talking to somebody and forming a connection.
Find your find your thing, and it really helps because honestly, if I didn't have that, it would be I feel like it would be random for me to just I don't know. Like, wait, so my example.
Yeah, so let's see, because you said if I didn't have that, it would be random. Okay, so most people, let's say you don't play no sports, like me. You have no particular activity that you can kind of use to interact with someone. Like, I can't just start filming people in my vlog and then, like, start talking to them, obviously.
You could.
I mean, I could, but that's weird. So for you, an easy conversation starter that I've seen so many times happen is Yoni just has his camera. And someone just asks him what camera that is. And then they say, oh, I'm a photographer. I'm into photography, blah, blah, blah. And they start talking and it's a whole thing. But if you don't have any of that, what do you do?
If I don't have any of that, I would go to a coffee shop.
Okay.
I would wake up one day and literally decide today I'm going to talk to someone or a few people. I go to a coffee shop, scan the room, look who could be friendly and not busy at the moment.
I feel like most of the time people that go to coffee shops, they're on their computer, they're with somebody else, they're reading a book. How would you even when you go to a coffee shop, nobody is expecting that I'm going to have a full-blown conversation with a stranger.
That is so interesting. How do you make friends as an adult?
I know, right?
No, like if you don't have those things, those activities. Because when we were younger, you're in school,
you're constantly
in
doing
class,
activities.
You got friends in your classroom. If you're lonely, then
you're a loner.
No, then I mean that's just a whole other thing.
That's a whole other thing, yeah.
But yeah, so let's say you're out of school, you graduated, you're working. I mean, I guess you can make friends at work. That's what people do.
Yeah, I mean that's how I made, my most recent new friend was all the friends that I have are through some type of job I had.
So you got to find a job that it's very easy to make friends in if you really want to.
I think that's also getting lucky.
I'm the wrong person to ask this question.
See, it shows you also how much you form friendships through those things, through just having your camera around on you and like you're taking photos and people approach you or
someone will talk to me that day.
Right. Or you go play soccer or basketball and whoever you end up playing with if it's like just a pickup game or if it's actually like a planned game on a league or whatever, you meet people through that.
Did I say that in the last pod episode?
What?
How I went to the park where people play soccer. I don't have any soccer friends in Seattle. I literally bought soccer shoes because I also play in a soccer league, right? But I was able to, obviously use those same shoes for the league to just go to the park with my soccer ball. And I was like, seen a bunch of people play.
Why did you go there in the first place? You just were going to go there by yourself?
Yeah, no, I was going to go with my friend.
Oh, okay. So you were going with your friend.
I called him and I was like, yo, you want to go to the soccer field? And let's just see who's playing. And he was like, yeah. So we both went and we get there. And then there's guys who are playing on the other goal. And then we were on the other side. And we were just shooting, passing each other. But in my head, I'm thinking like, damn, I want to play with these guys.
Right.
And it was like 50 people.
Yeah.
So I was like, hold on, I got to talk to these guys, see if they do this every time. And I just talked to the guy. I think one of them was like closer to me. And I said, do you guys play here every week? Or is this like an organized thing? Do you guys have a group chat? And then he said, yeah, we actually they were gonna ask us if they can play on our side. So I was like, well, I mean, we are playing here, but if we can join you guys, then obviously, yeah, we can use the whole field.
Right.
So anyways, long story short, I talked to a couple guys there. I found a person who's like running the whole thing, put me on the group chat, and that's it. And now I have a group chat, and every day they're talking about when are we going to play,
but I wouldn't say like those people are necessarily like your friends.
They're not my friends, but if I was lonely, guess where I'm going?
But see, I don't...
Like, I would go and play with those guys, and then a lot of I know they're not my friends, but everyone is so cool. I literally met like 50 or 40 people that same day.
Okay, question. Have you ever felt lonely in a crowded room? Which I know sounds like a lyric or something from a song.
Lonely in a crowded room. Did I come by myself?
Maybe. Like you went by yourself as in like, yeah, you went without me. You went before we were together or whatever. You went to a party or a gathering or a social event that you know people there, but you don't have like some good ass friends at this event.
I definitely felt that before.
You felt lonely in a crowded room.
It's so random, yes.
I felt
when
that.
I first moved
I feel
to
that
Seattle.
actually all the time. Like even when you're there, because you leave me by myself.
That is not true. I leave you because I want to. I don't know. For some reason, I have this urge to go talk to other people because I've been with you all day.
I know, but you know that I need help.
And then we get to this party. I can't hang out with you there also.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So
you just leave me so early on.
So early on, right?
You know,
it's like as soon as we walk in.
I need to warm up.
Yeah, that is true.
Sorry, I have dinner plans.
Yeah, Alia has dinner plans.
Speaking of, it's just with my mom, my sister.
Oh, okay.
Not that they're not important.
Does that mean we have to wrap up soon?
Yeah, I mean it's okay. The dinner reservation is in like 2 minutes, but you have that grace period. But one last thing that I want to touch on is how I am very much an extroverted introvert. Like I'm mostly introverted, but when I'm in a social situation, I can really eventually, and it depends on it, but a lot of people, when they talk to me at a social event, they think I'm an extrovert.
Yes.
By the way that I'm talking and I am so like social and I get into like my social vibe, my social costume.
I would think that too, just from the outside. It's just the way you talk and your energy. It's like, but you know what's funny? As soon as you end that conversation, you go back to like your introverted mindset.
Oh, like in the moment?
In the moment, let's say that conversation ended, right?
Yeah.
I feel like with you, conversation ends so like
abruptly,
so like out of nowhere, and then
I'm like, what do I say now?
Exactly.
And I get into my like introverted awkwardness.
And then you go get your water, or you go find me, and then I'm talking to someone, and
I'm just like, hi.
But then I know exactly what just happened. I know Alia somewhere, she just ended a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
It's so funny, but I mean.
Yeah, but anyways, sorry. What one last thing that I wanted to say.
Do you want to just answer and say that you're about to be there?
Yeah,
Honestly.
hold on. Just give me one brief moment. But the last thought that I want to end it on is something that I've been kind of not struggling with, but just I guess I'm trying to figure out is I'm a person, as I was saying, I'm an introvert. And most of the time, as I said earlier, I really enjoy hanging out with myself and being alone at home. I'm a homebody. Like, fuck, I pay rent for this bitch. I need to spend time here. You expect me to be all out and about when I'm paying rent? Like, let me use this house.
That's an interesting way to look at it and think about that. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but
that's not an excuse.
No, I'm not saying it's an excuse, but I think it's funny how we often,
because everybody pays rent. It's
like everybody's trying to always, like, I just really enjoy being at home. We've established that. So, but at the same time, I value friendship, and I've realized in the last year how I do need and want to have friends that I hang out with whenever I feel like I want to hang out with them. Yeah. And whenever they want to hang out with me, you know, I realized because there was a time where I was like, oh, I don't need no friends. Like, I've got Yoni, my person, and I got myself, and I'm good. And I have my family. But I've realized how, like, no, I like having friends. It's just a matter of, you know, meeting like the right people that you really truly connect with. Because I'm very much like quality over quantity. I don't need a lot of friends. I just need like a few that are like legit my friends. However, I'm getting into this tricky situation where I really value my alone time, and I love spending time at home with myself, especially because like we're both so busy that the little free time that I do have, I would much rather spend it alone than at a social gathering or something like that, you know? So I'm saying that to say, however, having friendships require effort, because to have an active friendship, or at least female friendships, I've noticed you need to be maintaining those friendships by actively hanging out, spending time together, texting each other, checking in. And it's just been my experience that having friends who are women, you have to be active in that friendship. You can just not be kind of saying anything or talking to them.
If you're not active in that friendship, does it fade away? Does something happen in the friendship if you're not active? Because
from my experience, like, yeah, a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like with my friends, sometimes I don't talk to them for like 2 months, and then randomly I can call them and say, what are you doing today? And there's no weird vibes.
Yeah.
Like nothing happens. Just like, okay, like I understand that people are busy, people are doing things. I don't take those things personal.
Yeah.
If you don't call me, like, I know you love me. I know I love you. We're friends. It's fine. You're doing shit. I don't think like, oh, you don't care about me anymore. You don't want to be my friend. It's like,
yeah.
It's like, really?
But it's about also like, what if your friend that you really value that friendship, but you don't necessarily want to like hang out that often, but that other friend is really always trying to hang out with you. So I think it's
what's
about
the problem
like,
there?
The problem is like, you also don't want to keep telling your friend like, oh, I can't hang out, or I don't want to hang out, because you want to like, you would much rather spend time by yourself.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
That friend should just read the room a little better. If I call someone 5 times and they always...
No, it's not so much like calling them. It's just being like, hey, do you want to hang out? And then for some reason, each time they ask to hang out, I'm like in my head, oh fuck, but I really wanted to like hang out by myself today, or like do my own thing, and I'm not really trying to like be with someone else.
You should just tell them that.
Right, but then what if you end up doing that like several times back to back?
Then you have to question, how much does that friendship mean to you?
But I don't think it's necessary. Oh wait, why do you say that?
Because do you ever want to hang out with this person? Do you ever reach out?
I do. But I don't know. I feel like what I'm trying to say is getting lost. But
it's getting lost in the sauce. But I think I understand.
It's about the fact that I really enjoy my time alone. But I also understand. I'm right now in this point in my life where I'm really figuring out how I can navigate both maintaining and honing friendships, and also prioritizing and still allowing myself to have alone time. So it's a balance of like actively honing and maintaining friendships by being active in them and not assuming that they're constantly going to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow, this is interesting. I feel like I can talk about this for so much longer because I have like so many different points that I want to make. Maybe we should do like a
part two
or something. But yeah, if you're Alia's friends and you're watching this, take what you want from this episode.
No, but
I'm just
and so
kidding.
much of it is about me.
No, it is. It's not.
Like actually, all of it is about.
No,
it has
I know.
nothing to do with anyone else
It's not personal. And
at all.
And I'm not a person who takes things personally. So if you ever don't want to hang out with me, just say Yoni honestly. And I know you would.
I mean, I always want to hang out with you.
Yeah, I know. But sometimes you don't.
And I just don't. So I don't even think about that I don't. I just don't.
Yeah. And then the days that you don't, it's fine. Because to me, I don't know. I never felt like I needed to hang out with you really, really bad. Because we always like we're always in each other's space.
I mean, I do. It's weird because we spend so much time together. But if you go to work and I'm at home, or if I go somewhere and I'm hanging out with someone like most of the day, and then you've been home or doing your own thing, there is moments where I'm like, damn, I miss Yoni. And it's so funny. I never say your full name. There are times where I'm like, damn, like I can't wait to like hang out with you, even though we hang out all the time. I still have those moments where I miss you. I think
it's more of that missing the energy in the house.
Yeah, because we just have such a great time together.
Because even if I'm here and we're not doing shit. We're just like in the house. I'm in the kitchen. You're over here doing your thing.
We're both like headphones on, doing our own thing, listening to our own shit.
Sometimes I would literally text Alia while we're in the same house.
Yeah. Wait, why?
Because I'm listening to something and I know that you're watching
like,
something.
What do you want to eat for dinner? Vibes. Yeah. It's a funny thing.
That is.
But
funny.
I have to go to dinner because.
Damn.
We have to. Yeah. But it's okay.
Wait,
it's just down the block.
What did we want people to leave in the comments? What was the question again?
Oh, I mean, the question that I asked them was about the shirt. So
it's who really copied who?
It's really not that important. But let us know if like this episode was just us going in circles and you think that there was no point to this episode.
No, what?
No, there totally was.
How can you say that at the end of the episode? I feel like it was so like, I feel like it would have people just maybe reevaluate maybe their own relationships with people in their life and see how do I feel about certain things.
Yeah. And also how to navigate being okay, because I think we're constantly, everyone wants to like have friends, or society tells us you should have friends and you should have people in your corner, like the ride or die, and like I have my friend group and I have my girls and like girls trip, girls night. Like I don't have any of that shit in my life really, like to that extent. And I constantly feel like I should, for a long time I felt like I shouldn't want to be alone. I should want to be with people all the time. I should want to have a social life and hang out and be fun and cool and go to parties and all that. And honestly, I've just grown into it is totally fine to just want to be alone most of the time.
I feel like it really just depends on the type of person. Because if you're a person who needs...
I'm just saying about me.
Yeah.
Like this is like a revelation I've had.
Yeah.
Because there's many people that are trying to, hang out with people all the time. They're much more social and extrovert. And that's great. And that's why I'm literally an extroverted introvert.
Yeah.
It's like 80% introvert, 20% extro.
What would you say I am?
I would say you're like 60 introvert, 40 extrovert. Maybe like 65, 35.
60.
Wouldn't you say
60?
So? Because I think you're a little bit like you're not constantly trying to hang out with people.
Honestly, ever since I've been in this relationship, which has been 4 years now, but especially the last 2 years,
yeah,
I found myself really just wanting to like spend time with you for some weird reason.
Because I'm just great.
I don't know what it is.
Because we're best friends. Like you're the best friend that I've looked for my entire life. I am more, and not to get all like sappy or whatever, but I am more myself with Yoni than I even knew I could be. I've discovered parts of myself and my personality that only Yoni brought out. So it wasn't until I was 19 when we met.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I met you that I knew the like random shit that I do.
You said that
because
before.
I was never comfortable enough to do it around anyone else, even my family.
Yeah.
And it's weird shit. Like I have weird bursts of energy where like I want to like.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, but
that's so funny.
So yeah.
So then when we met, you started to like find parts of yourself that you were like, damn, I'm being more myself that I even knew I can be.
Yeah, than I even knew myself I would be. Like, it was never even a matter of, oh, I'm around these people so I can't do this and that. It was just when Yoni and I got in a relationship and, you know, it was 1 or 2 years in that I just had this whole other part of my personality that came to the surface that I didn't even know existed. It came to the surface so naturally. It's hard to put into words.
Wow.
But anyways, guys, I need to leave.
Why did I say wow?
Wow.
Yeah, we should.
So I'm gonna just say goodbye and then you can close out. But I love you guys. I hope that this was a fun episode. It's been on the list for a while that we've been wanting to talk about it. But I just love being alone. That's the moral of my story. And I'm gonna get up and you can do all the shout outs.
No, I mean I'm just gonna do the shout out right here.
Okay. So, but I am gonna get up.
I just want to say shout out to your dog and wow. Nice. Thanks. Well, are you leaving?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just wow. I don't know what to do. Should I say shout out to everyone's dog? And if you're listening, yo, you know what's funny? Usually I just look at you when I'm talking, but now I can't even. Like I feel like What'd you say? Alright, you guys, we're gonna sign out. Let's just go, and I'll see you later. Okay, bye.